Wissam Tawil. He's our distinguished alumnus from the Mechanical Engineering Department. Mr. Wissam obtained his bachelor degree from AUB in 1992, and then a master's of engineering management in 1997. He has extensive industrial experience. He worked for 10 years in several consultancy firms before establishing his own company, Wissam Tawil and Associate, which operates in many countries in the East Mediterranean, in the Gulf, and in Africa. So without any further ado, please, Mr. Wissam, come in to give us, I hope, your interesting talk on my private and public career path.
Okay. Good morning. In 1988, I joined AUB as a mechanical engineering student. And despite the two devastating wars in 1989 and 1990, I managed to graduate in November 92, while taking about 21 to 23 credits per semester. My first turning point in life was the death of my father in August of 92, which was three months before my graduation. This forced me to stay in Lebanon and take care of my mother and young sister and brother, unlike most of my classmates who left the country to work and build their future outside. I began working with an HVAC contracting company for about 6 months in Beirut. And from there, I moved to another MEP design company where I worked from 93 till 2000. There I knew that this is the work that I love. And it was there where I built my technical knowledge. In parallel to that, I had to give private lessons in math and physics after the working hours in order to support my family. From 1994 to 1997, I did my master's in engineering management at AUB in conjunction with my work. My thesis was entitled Causes of Delay in Large Building Construction Projects in Lebanon. And this gave me competences that I lacked previously. In the year 2000, the MEP design company that I was working in received an invitation to visit a heating manufacturer in France. The company chose me to present it in this trip. This was my second turning point in my career. The representative of the French company in Lebanon offered me a job as a technical sales manager while doubling my salary. Immediately, I accepted the offer, as this would relieve me from doing a double job and working for 16 hours a day. After 1 year of being the technical sales manager of that company, I knew it was the wrong move, unfortunately. Even though my income doubled, but it was not meant for me. I am a mechanical design engineer, and this was my passion. So I resigned in 2001 and decided to open my own office. I was back to square zero at that time. So I rented an office of 80 square meters, shared with a friend of mine, an architect called Karim Bekdash. And the reason for sharing the office, the 80 square meter office, was to split the rent and the expenses together. So from Karim, I learned the importance of architecture and how electromechanical systems should be integrated properly in architecture. At that time, I was just designing small apartments and houses, and then wondering, when will I have the chance to to design large projects like towers and hotels. So here on the, we see just like, an air conditioning of a small apartment at that time. Giving it a lot of thoughts, the only way for me to enter the market and be among the major players was to give an exceptional quality of design and service. And I did exactly that. In year 2008, I established WTA MEP Engineers with my partner Dikram Muradian, electrical engineer of class of 93. From there on, we had a continuous growth of about 20% per year. WTA owns now about a 500 square meter office in Hajtebet with about 30 employees and 20 electrical and mechanical engineers. So here we see, for example, an hotel we are doing now in Jeddah of 200 beds. WTA is also, so this is the team and the office. And WTA is also ISO certified for quality management system, as quality is still our first priority. We currently design and supervise plumbing, HVAC, firefighting, and electrical works for buildings, in addition to project management and CFD simulation. Our work spreads from Lebanon to the Gulf, Levant area, Africa, and Europe. Just to give just a small brief of some of our projects. For example, now we are doing the First National Bank headquarters in Mathaf. We are in the design process of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Martyrs Square. We did Byblos Sud Resort in Byblos. Also Ashrafiyya Heights and Ashrafiyya, a 30 floors residential tower. We also did Beit Beirut, the museum in the Sodico area, and American Community School faculty building just next to us. Some projects in Africa, Koramo Beach Residence for Total in Lagos, Nigeria, which is under construction now. CMKD in Tangier, Morocco, already built. Matrix Tower in Kinshasa. Sabis International School in Nairobi, Kenya. Some projects in the Gulf, like the Munajim Tower in Riyadh, office building, the Kaust Hotel in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Lamina Tower in Jeddah, Nishan Tower in Qatar, Lusail area, with a GSAS 4 requirement. In Europe now, we are designing a museum in Romania, Bucharest. So, and we also do CFD simulation with simulation of a wind tunnel we did for the one building in Ashrafiyya. And we also do CFD simulation for smoke management and ventilation and air conditioning. So most of the projects that use jet fans in their parkings now, most of them, we are doing the simulation of the ventilation mode and the smoke management mode. Of course, I still have high hopes in the construction sector, and we are really working continuously to grow and expand and be in a better position against all odds and the current economical situation. Now, my third turning point was in 2013, where I was elected as a council member in the Order of Engineers of Beirut. And I was the only AUB graduate out of 16 members of the council. Despite all the difficulties to work with a public institution, I managed to achieve some of my electoral program. So in the first year, I managed to implement the online payment in the order so that engineers can pay online their subscription, and they can renew their insurance as well and pay by credit card or through OMT. The second issue that I worked for 2 years with a committee of specialists was in issuing the criteria of green buildings in Lebanon. And this criteria was was approved by the DGU, which is the Majlis, the Director of General Urbanism, Majlis Al-A'la Tanzim al-Madani, and it was approved by them, and each project that has to take the approval of the DGU or has to implement these criteria. Now, this criteria is being also the basis of the code and standard for green buildings that is being developed by Libnor. I also worked on a national conference on solid waste management, and we did this conference in last March. And from there, we managed to have a clear recommendation and a roadmap for the crisis of solid management, waste solid management in Lebanon. I also worked for promoting the Pro-Green Diploma in the Order of Engineers with Dr. Ghaddar, of course. And also worked on implementing the new regulation of safety in elevators with the norm Lebanese and the N81 for elevators, and including this requirement in the process of the permit that begins in the Order of Engineers. I also worked on a memorandum of understanding between the UB and the Order of Engineers for continuing education courses. Okay, so I worked on this 2 years ago, but it stopped for some reasons, but political reasons. But now I think we will work on it again and really try to achieve this so that the training center in the Order of Engineers can really have the backup of UB and put it in another position. I still have 2 years in the Order of Engineers, being a council member, and really have high hopes to achieve a lot more, especially with the newly elected Naib Jad Thabit, who is a AUB graduate of class of '69. So my final recommendations for us is really to be passionate about the work that you do and build a technical know-how and competence, have a good reputation, of course ensure a good and respectable income, and really have a public interest in the issues that our country is facing. So we have to really get involved, especially UB graduates and students in municipalities or orders or clubs or NGOs or whatever, but we really have to be involved in public issues and matters. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, thank you.